everybody. Welcome to Aquarium Live. My name is Stacy, and I'm here at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, California. Now, thank you all so much for joining us today. We are going to be joined by Captain Joe of the Ocean Rangers, and we're going to explore, we're going to learn, and of course, we're going to be playing some games too. So I'm so excited that you're able to join us today. So let's check in with Captain Joe and see if he's ready to connect with us.
Hello boys and girls, it's Captain Joe of the Ocean Rangers. I'm here at the aquarium today investigating if our animals really do play.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I hear penguins can be pretty playful and energetic.
Okay, I'll meet you over there.
Great. All right, well, since Captain Joe is going to be looking for some penguins, we're going to take a moment to play a puzzle. Now, this puzzle is just going to be a bunch of little squares, and I'm only going to show a few at a time. Now, I want you to try to figure out what animal is in this picture just by seeing little parts of that picture. Got it? All right, let's go ahead and start our puzzle. What is this animal? Now, we did get a clue at the very, very beginning. The clue was this animal is gray. Okay, so we know that this animal is gray. In fact, we can see it right here. Not only is it just gray, but it has a pattern on it too. And that pattern, polka dots. So we have a polka dotted something. Oh, here's a little body part that might give us a clue. What could that be? And I'm standing in front of part of it. What do you think this animal might be? Now, I also just gave you a clue. It is definitely an animal. Now, if you think you know what it is, go ahead and say it out loud. And let's see the rest of our picture. Ta-da! Guess what it is? It's a shark. And in fact, all those spots that we noticed earlier, all those spots, that tells us this is a leopard shark. Now, leopard sharks are really, really cool. They actually live here in Southern California, right close to me in the oceans. Now, these leopard sharks are really fun. They don't get to be very big. In fact, they're about my size, and I'm not a very tall person. And they just kind of cruise around the kelp forest looking for food. Now, of course, you can see what animals eat by looking at them. Okay, so if we look at them really closely, we can see that its mouth is right here. It's a little bit underneath this animal, so we know that whatever it's going to be eating will be under it. Things like maybe a little crab or a squid, something that often you'll find at the bottom of the ocean. And as you can see here, this shark is awfully close to the bottom of its exhibit. All right, everybody. Well, that was a really fun puzzle. We were able to figure out that that was a leopard shark, a local leopard shark to Southern California. I bet you Captain Joe has found some penguins. So let's see what he sees. Captain Joe, hello?
Oh, hey kids. We're here at our Magic Land Penguin exhibit. We're just taking some observational data to see if we do have penguins that really play here at the aquarium.
Excellent. Let's find out more. Okay, so I think we're going to be taking a look at the penguins, and we're trying to see if they like to play. So let's take a look at maybe some of their behaviors, and hopefully Captain Joe can enlighten us a little on penguin behavior.
They seem to be very curious about their environment, but I wonder how that helps them in their habitat.
That is definitely our penguin habitat. Oh, what are they doing? Very cool. So we can learn a lot about penguins and other animals too by looking at what they do. Oh, penguins. Okay. Their penguins are so much fun to watch. So just as I was saying, you can learn a lot about animals just by looking at them. Everybody here can be a scientist. All you need to do is use your senses to look, to listen, and that's really what we're going to be focusing on today, is looking and listening. And so we are learning by listening and, of course, watching animals, the penguins here, any animals or bugs even that you might even have at home. Oh, I wonder what Joe is seeing. It looks like he's investigating something and sharing it too. He's sharing it with the penguin there. So that's a great thing you can do. When you learn things, you can share them with the people that are around you, or big penguin statues too. I mean, if you have a big penguin statue, that works too. So Captain Joe must have figured something out. Hopefully he can also go find a penguin expert who might be able to let us in a little bit more on how penguins like to play. Now, hopefully Joe is doing that now, and it's time for us to check in with my friend Kara and her buddy Lola to find out a little bit more about other animals who like to play.
Hi, my name is Kara. I'm an aviculturist here at the Aquarium in the Pacific. That just means that I take care of a lot of the birds that live here at the aquarium. And this is Lola. Lola is one of our program animals. He is a sulfur-crested cockatoo. Our program animals are animals that we take to other places like schools, and we do presentations with him here to educate the public about animals in the wild. Right? Can you say hi? Good boy. Blow kisses. Good boy. So some of the things we do for Lola during his playtime are we like to give him a bath sometimes. Sometimes he likes to have toys that he likes to play with. Sometimes he likes to just do really fun behaviors. Lola is about as smart as a 3 or 4-year-old child, so he likes to do really, really fun things. He actually likes to do these behaviors that we do with him, so it's fun time for him. Even though it's a training session, it's also fun.
That's exciting. Now, Kara and Lola usually have a whole lot of fun together, and Lola even has some other people who take care of him as well. In fact, if you check out our social media like Facebook and Instagram, you can see Lola go on a journey around the Aquarium of the Pacific, visiting some of our animals while we're closed. Now, let's see if Kara and Lola can show off a few other fun behaviors.
Peekaboo! Good boy.
All right, thank you, Kara and Lola. That was so much fun. So as you can see, animals definitely love to play. So I think it's time for us to do another puzzle, actually. So this is very similar. We're just going to show you a few little peeks at a picture. And your job is to try to figure out what animal this is. There's our clue. It's green. All right, so we got our clue. It's green. It is an animal. We know that much. And if you really look at the picture here, you might even be able to figure out where it lives. Also, a good clue is we're part of the Aquarium of the Pacific, of course. If you look down here, you'll see a specific color. Over here, you'll see a specific color. Blue, of course, and that is water. So we know that this is an ocean animal. Let's look for other clues that might tell us what this is. Now, I see right over here this part of an animal. We know it's green. There's a pattern too. That's a really good clue. What could it be? All right, let's go check out the rest of the animal and see if you figured out what it is. Excellent! Now this, of course, is a sea turtle. So thank you everybody for playing along at home. Now this is a sea turtle. How do we know that this is a sea turtle? All we need to do is look for some clues, right? What is one thing that you see on this animal here that tells us it's a turtle? Go ahead and say it out. If you think you know, what do you see on this animal that tells you that this has to be a turtle? Now for me, when I look at this, I see that real beautiful shell. Now that beautiful shell on that turtle helps me know that this is definitely a turtle. Now that shell is really, really useful for that turtle. What do you think a shell does for a turtle? Why do they have shells? To look pretty? It's got to be more than that, right? Everything has a purpose. Now this shell is really, really good protection, and it will protect it from lots of different things. Now the shell of this turtle here is a great protection, but you know, if you think of a lot of turtles, they hide in their shells, right? Sea turtles cannot do that. Sea turtles are just out, and they swim and they swim and they swim, but they cannot hide in their shells, not like a turtle that you might have as a pet. Those are a little bit different, still a turtle. Now, another way that we know that this is a sea turtle is to look at its flippers. Now take a look at this big, beautiful flipper here. And of course it has the other one on the other side. Now those flippers are really important. What do they do with those flippers? How do they use those flippers? Do you think they doggy paddle? I don't know. I don't think that's how turtles swim. I think they flap. In fact, sometimes they kind of do this sort of thing. So everybody swim like a turtle. All right. So turtles are really, really cool, especially sea turtles out there in the ocean. Okay, I think we must have given Captain Joe enough time to go find a penguin expert. Let's see what he's learned.
Welcome back, boys and girls. I'm here with my friend Matt. He works with a lot of our birds here at the aquarium. Matt, we're investigating if our animals here at the aquarium like to play. Can you help us out with that question?
Oh yeah, most of our animals are naturally curious. Our penguins especially like to investigate their surroundings. They like to look under the water and above the water. So we like to give them enrichment, things to play with while they do that.
Now enrichment, can you explain a little bit more about what that means to our guests?
Sure, enrichment is a way of keeping our animals from being bored, from being lazy. It keeps their mind stimulated and it keeps their body active, just like kids would play with toys. And we like to use things like balls and dog toys, and they even like to play with bubbles.
Bubbles? Yeah, some of these are actually looking very familiar to me. I'm sure a lot of our guests have seen these before.
Sure, it's the same type of thing that you would use for your pets at home.
Awesome, very cool. And I imagine these are probably pretty fun for our animals.
We like to think so.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Matt, I'm sure you have a lot of things that you have to do, get back to our animals. If it's okay, do you think I can maybe hang out with these toys for a little while and maybe play with our penguins?
Maybe for a little bit, but they're going to want them back because they use their enrichment every day.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and I'll bring them back to you for sure. Matt, thank you so much. Back to you at the studio.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Captain Joe. Now, just like Matt and Captain Joe were talking about, our animals here get enrichment. And enrichment is just something for the animals to do. It can be things like toys. It could be some of the interaction they get. Some of our animals even get food that's kind of hidden around. And that's just something for them to have to think a little bit and move a little bit. So it gets them thinking and moving, and that is some pretty successful enrichment, or just fun things for them. Now, I'm sure that all of us can find enrichment at home too. Things for us to kind of play with or even use our imaginations. Now, that would be a lot of fun to do at any time. All right, so while Captain Joe is playing with the penguin enrichment, let's check in at the Molina Animal Care Center. That is our animal hospital here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and we're going to talk with my friend Shara Seals. She's a veterinary technician, and she cares for a lot of the animals that we have here at the aquarium, including penguins.
Welcome, Ocean Rangers. My name is Shara Seals. I am a veterinary technician here at the Molina Animal Care Center, our veterinary hospital for the Aquarium of the Pacific's animals. I work with Dr. Lance Adams, our veterinarian. A veterinary technician is a fancy term for an animal nurse. That's what I do here. And today, we're going to look at Heidi, one of our Magellanic penguins. She needs a physical exam. This is Heidi. This is one of our Magellanic penguins. We're going to do a physical exam on her today. We use this is a stethoscope. We use this to listen to her lungs and her heart. This is an ophthalmoscope. We look at her eyes. And this is a thermometer. We have to take her temperature. Heidi's being very good. We look at her feathers to make sure they're in good quality so that she's able to thermoregulate, which means keeps her warm while she's swimming in the water. We look at her beak and her nostrils, and we even look at her feet. And we feel her belly to make sure there's nothing hard or anything out of the ordinary. Well, it looks like Heidi is in good health. She's pretty happy. Thanks for joining us, boys and girls. See you next time.
All right, well, that was really cool to kind of see what it takes to take care of our penguins. So, of course, when they're on their exhibit, we have to clean up the exhibit and feed the penguins, give them enrichment to play with, and just make sure that they're doing really, really well. And, of course, they go see the veterinarian once a year for a checkup, just like Shara was able to share with us today. Now, one of the things that they get a really good look at are their feathers. So what we're going to do now is actually explore and take a look at some penguin feathers that I have in a box. Now, penguins are really funny. They actually do something called molting every year. So every year they lose all of their feathers at one time. All of their new feathers come in at the same time too. Now those new feathers are pretty great. They are shinier, they have more protection, and one of the most important parts about penguin feathers is that it keeps those penguins nice and warm. Now, penguins live in pretty cold water. In fact, the penguins that we have here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, they are Magellanic penguins. And the water where they're found in the ocean is the same temperature as the water here in Long Beach, California. So it's not freezing cold, but it's cool. And if penguins were there without any feathers, they'd look really funny, for number one. But they would also be very, very cold, and they could even get sick. So these feathers insulate them. In fact, they have so many of these little feathers that even though they're in the water, their skin is dry. Now, if you look really carefully, you can even see some of the little parts of the feathers right here. It's not just one big feather, but there's lots of little parts to the feathers that make them kind of lock in with each other to block out the water. And if you have a whole bunch all together, it's almost like having a perfect little suit that keeps the water out. Now, of course, when we look at these feathers, one of the ways we know they're penguin feathers is by looking at the colors. We have black and white. Very cool. Now, another thing that we could see are penguin skulls. So this here is the skull or the bones in the head of our Magellanic penguin. Now, this is a model, so we can kind of see what they look like. Is there any part of this that you know what it is? Take a look at the dark part right here. What part of the head do you think this is? This is their mouth. That's right. So it's also called a beak. And then where do you think their eyes would be? If you're guessing this little circle here, nice job. So that little circle is where the eye of the penguin would be. Now, penguins like us have brains. Where would the brain go in this head? Oh my, it would go right in here. So even this penguin skull, just like the bones in our head, our skull, it can protect the brain. Very, very cool. So this is a really neat model of that penguin skull, so you can kind of see what's going on inside, underneath all of the feathers. Okay, now that we've had a chance to take a look at little parts of the penguin, let's take a look at our actual penguins here at the aquarium and see what they're up to. Now this here is our webcam. So we have webcams or cameras in many of the exhibits here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and you can log in whenever you want to. You just have to go to aquariumofpacific.org and look for webcam. And then you can choose a handful of exhibits to see what the animals are up to. Now here are some of our penguins, and you can see that they have mats here on the ground. That kind of helps keep the ground a little bit on the cleaner side. Those are very easy to remove and clean up really, really well. But you'll also see there's a bunch of it looks like sticks or leaves. What do you think that's used for? Now we had to put that inside the exhibit because the penguins do use it this time of year. Why would a penguin need to have plant stuff inside their exhibit? Or what would they do with it? Now, if you guess they make a nest out of it, you're right. Now, these penguins are really cool. Magellanic penguins actually dig little holes in the ground, and they make a nest in that. Now, we don't have dirt here for them to dig into, but we do have little nesting holes in the back that can go into a small space, just like they would normally dig out. And they can put all of the leaves and everything in there and make a nice, soft, padded area for a nest. So, very cool thing to see here in our penguin exhibit. Now, you are welcome to visit our penguin exhibit anytime online just by going to our webcams. Okay, I think we should probably check in with Captain Joe. He's had those enrichment toys for a very long time. I wonder what he's doing. All right, well, bye there, Captain Joe. It looks like he was playing with the bubbles, and our penguins really do love bubbles. Do you like bubbles too? I do. It's pretty fun. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other exhibits that we have around the aquarium, and then we're going to wrap up with our question of the day. Now, hopefully you've been able to catch the whole episode of Aquarium Live, and you'll be able to answer our question of the day. But let's first take a look inside one of our exhibits and investigate. Let's explore. Ooh. What do you see in here? Oh, well, that's a real big fish. This exhibit here is called Blue Cavern, and this is a model of a real dive site. So there's a real dive site out in the ocean called Blue Cavern, and it's a kelp forest. Now, one of the ways I know it's a kelp forest is I saw this stuff right here. This is seaweed, and specifically the one that grows real tall is called giant kelp. And this giant kelp is kind of the basis of this whole habitat. Now, that giant kelp gives the animals a place to live and hide, to have babies, to find food. Some animals even eat it. So it's a really important part of this habitat. And of course, if you have healthy kelp, you can have a healthy habitat with all the other animals and everything around it. So when we look at the animals here, you might notice they're kind of all the same color. Yeah, they're all kind of gray. Even this guy right here, or girl, not really sure which one this is. Oh, we've got another one behind me. There's two. Those two are called giant sea bass, and they are the biggest fish in this exhibit, and they can grow to be even bigger. Now, these giant sea bass live for a very long time, similar to people. even up to 70 years. So this is a very, very big fish, and it looks like it's very curious and playful. So who knew? Even fish like to play. Fish face. Well, with this giant fish body in the way, it's real hard to see the other animals, but it looks like it's moving out of the way for us to see a few others. Ooh, look at that. That fish is a little bit smaller. And there's some fish also in the back that are even smaller than that. Now, this exhibit is a pretty big exhibit. And if you look kind of under the rocks, you might even see a real skinny fish. It's kind of green, and it's long and thin. It's a California moray eel. So all of the animals that you see here in this exhibit are local animals to Long Beach, California, which of course is where I am right now. And they're a lot of fun to watch. And they do even interact with each other sometimes. And they just like to kind of play around sometimes. So lots of fun to see. There's that big fish again, the giant sea bass. Now, one way we know that's a giant sea bass is it's giant. Also, take a look at the pattern on it. The top is dark, the bottom is light, and it's got polka dots. And that's one way that we know that this is a giant sea bass. All right, my friends. Now, I think it's time for us to take a look at our question of the day. So, here's our question. What kind of bird is Lola? So we met Lola earlier with my friend Kara. What kind of bird is Lola? Now I think we have multiple choice here. Your options are a lorikeet, a cockatoo, or a penguin. Do you remember? Well, we've been studying penguins. What color are penguins? Black and white? What color is Lola? I see white and yellow. So maybe not a penguin, lorikeet, or cockatoo. Let's find out the answer. All right, good job, everybody. Lola is a cockatoo. So again, this is a sulfur-crested cockatoo, our buddy Lola here, and our animals, we found out, really love to play. And I want to thank Lola for showing us what that play can look like. Now, I do want to say thank you, everybody, so much for joining us here at the Aquarium of the Pacific in our Aquarium Live program. It was really great to hang out with all of you, to learn a little bit about how animals play, especially a lot about our penguins. I hope that you'll tune in again. We have several more programs today, and we'll be doing more programs this week. Thanks so much. Bye now.
All right, boys and girls, well, it does look like our animals do play here at the aquarium, so job well done. Nice detective work. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you at the studio.
Thank you, Captain Joe. All right, everyone. Now we're going to put another live camera on just so you can see what's going on here at the Aquarium of the Pacific.